Hey YouTube, Aiden/Just Aiden here with a three-parter trial by fire. There we go, it went out. Three different bass trombones that I've played a bunch recently. Two of which are mine, one of which is not. And I thought I'd just condense it all. I actually made a video already about these three bass trombones. Let's frame this a little better. There we go. I've already made a video about these, but then I played them some more and I kind of had some different thoughts, so I thought I'd make a new video and just kind of condense them. So first of all, the one I just played, my new Corporation 50B. Straight up 50B, no numbers after the thing, no extra letters. It's not a gold bell, nothing else. This is my third 50B that I've owned. I've owned another Corporation and another 90s 50B, I think. And this is, I think, probably the best one. It just plays really, really well with the stock box slide. I have not had a 50 slide that plays as well as this one. I don't think ever, honestly. The one that came with my 50B forever ago was actually a pretty good slide, but I remember not liking it as much as my Shire slide, which was not a very good slide. So I think this is probably the best playing 50 slide I've ever come across, honestly, other than maybe the one I played at NAMM somewhat recently. And it's a perfect match for this horn. The slide actually works on my other two basses as well, which is usually not the case. Usually I put a box slide on them and they just get so much worse in every way. And this still works on them, but for this horn particularly, it just matches perfectly. It has the perfect amount of resistance. Everything about it just is a really good match for this instrument. I bought this because it was cheap, and I honestly did not expect much because the last 50B I had was honestly not very good at all. The bell was pretty good, and I ended up cutting it, and it was a really heavy bell, so I ended up selling it. The slide was not very good. The valve was just totally shot. This one has crazy good compression. The slide doesn't have amazing action. It's like, I'd say like solid 6.8 out of 10 or something like that. Good enough. And the valve just, I mean, like, everything else is great. There's some like corrosion on the bell, and there's a couple dings and things, but you know, this horn is from 1974 or something like that, so almost 50-year-old instrument is in pretty gosh darn good shape. Of course, it's a single. I don't know what I'm ever going to do with this as is. It's already had the tuning slide cut, which is kind of neat. Usually I think it would sit right about where it is now. This would be pushed in all the way on a non-cut tuning slide instrument. Now it goes all the way to there. I only know that because my first one was not cut, and it had a counterweight here, and I swear the counterweight didn't touch anything with the tuning slide all the way in. And if I put a counterweight on this now, it stops like right here. So that's kind of neat. That's like the only mod I would actually have done to one of these if I wanted to play a 50B as is. Makes it kind of nice to be able to play it in tune. So yeah, I'm really not sure about this now. I thought it was not going to be that good and I would just sell it, but it's actually very, very good. It has this crazy vintage sound, and now I'm not sure what to do with it because I don't want to chop it up necessarily, but I also don't know if I'm going to use it. I have a counterweight coming just so I can play it. I took the one off of my tenor to try it out, and it plays a lot better and it is more balanced. Right now it's too front heavy to use for a long time. So really interesting horn. I don't want to sell it, but I also shouldn't keep it, so who knows what I'm going to do with this. Second horn up is my Byers, my 50B3 OG, now with Shire's valves. This horn just came out so much differently than I expected, honestly. As it was with the original Bach valves, it just wasn't great. It sounded pretty good, and I didn't hate playing it, but if I tried to play any kind of dynamics or anything, it just fought me. It did not want to do what I wanted to do. And I couldn't get the sound to change, really, which is kind of a sign of the valves, usually, I think. I had another 50B2 way back in the day that just always sounded this crazy vintage sound, but you literally couldn't color it at all. It was just that. You play it louder, you play it softer, it would just kind of stay within this range. Now, I have a lot more room. It plays really well. especially loud. It really just lights up. It wants to be just played really hard. And it's really satisfying to play in that regard. Especially commercial kind of a sound. It's a really big box sound. A lot of it goes out the bell rather than to the sides, which is not usually the case for box. Really big box sound, but just a little bit brighter, and it blends up to tenor trombones rather than down to tuba more predominantly, I find. And so, really good commercial horn, just like came out of nowhere. I didn't think a Bach would end up like this, honestly. I haven't had another horn, another Bach that played like this one yet. I've had brighter Bachs, but they just kind of like weren't very good, or horns that played this easily, but didn't sound very good. So this one's kind of an enigma. I'm really torn on it right now because it is just a little bit too tight. It's not stuffy, I wouldn't say stuffy, but it's too tight. The partials, these slots, are just razor sharp right now. There's just no room. There's one spot where the sound happens, and that is it. And it's because of that. It's a little bit inflexible. It really just wants you to stay on one partial and not go to the next one. So actually playing legato, like soft, like piano melodies and stuff, is actually pretty difficult on this. It's more of a chop buster than my bighorn if you try to play soft and beautiful for like a long period of time, which is kind of interesting. I've never had a horn that kind of like fought you in that way, but not the other way. And it plays loud really well, and I love this sound. So I'm going to get a larger lead pipe for it right now. I have a Shire's B2, which actually doesn't fit, just kind of screws in partially. This is the largest lead pipe I have. I'm going to have a friend come over. I'm going to try an Edwards B3. This is the Edwards slide, of course. And a couple other things. We'll see if I can get it to open up. Right now, I'm just really not sure about it. If I can get it to open up and play a little bit more easily, especially in lower dynamics, which is a weird thing to say, I might keep it, because it is a really awesome commercial horn. Like, better than most of the ones I've played. Better than the Shire's commercial instrument that was at NAMM. That was my favorite Shire's of the show. This sounds more interesting. Isn't that much harder to play. Of course, the linkages and stuff, still not great, but I can deal with that, and I can get those changed out. So this one, bit of an enigma. We'll see if I can get a larger lead pipe to kind of open it up. Maybe a different slide. I'm really not sure about this one. It's so cool. So not sure about that yet. And then last trial by fire is I work at Disneyland as a sub on trombones. That's kind of what I do most of my playing on. And they finally bought an instrument for the bass trombonists to use. They bought a Yamaha YBL 830 Xeno independent valved bass trombone. I actually had this built to use at Disneyland, and then they bought that like right afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay, so why did I have this built again? I'm still torn on this because I really like it, but I'm not going to use it at Disneyland because they got the Xeno. And so I've been playing that a lot because it's free, right? If I take these instruments to work, they can get damaged. This slide actually has a ding in it from Disneyland, and I should probably get that looked at. But if I use this horn at work, you know, who cares? They'll fix it. It's not my problem. And, okay, so I've played a lot of these Xenos. I've played probably like 10, 11, something like that, just throughout the past. And I've never been very impressed. Like, some of them have been, like, actually pretty good. They sound really big or whatever. Some of them have been really tight, really hard to play. Some of them have just been really dull. Some of them just don't play well. Just really inconsistent horns. Not that I'm a stranger to inconsistent instruments, but like they've never been inconsistent in a way that I just really enjoy, like Bach's can be, where they can just be really amazing. And so they're like, yeah, we got this horn. I'm like, great. It's probably going to be trash, and I'm not going to want to play it, but I'm going to because it's free. And then I played it, and that's actually a pretty gosh darn good one. It's definitely leaning toward the commercial side of playing. It's got a very spread articulation. The box, the note just kind of pops out. It pops out in different ways, like on this commercial instrument that I just showed you guys. The notes just appear out of nowhere. Now there's a note. On my big orchestral style bass with a dual burst slide, they don't really pop out so much, but there's no spread to their articulation. The note just starts, just maybe a little less defined front to it. On the Yamaha, though, they have really spread. It's a totally different feeling than in any other bass that I've played recently, actually. They kind of go dwa, dwa. And so that's something I've had to get used to, had to get used to, not have to get used to. That doesn't make any sense. It sounds pretty good. I don't think it sounds amazing. It's got a little bit of character to it, more than the average one, I would say. And really the best part about it is the response in all registers at all volumes is exactly the same. And that is really addicting, honestly, to just be able to play like high G, pedal C, E flat in the staff, A flat above the staff. Just everything feels the same, and you can just nail it every time, which means that I play really in tune and I play really consistently throughout a day, and I can just kind of save my face. I know how the instrument's going to respond. I can play soft, I can play loud. It's not going to fight me playing low C's or C's above the staff. There's no weird positions that are just like, whoa, okay, C above the staff is just like super flat or doesn't respond well. Everything is the same. So honestly, for a horn that I don't really want myself, but I have to play to make money, it's perfect because it does everything really easily and makes a good enough sound, and it's free. So there's a Trial by Fire, 3 different instruments I've played a lot of recently. More equipment changes and stuff coming up soon. See you guys next time.